My name is Trayden.
My name is Martel.
Savannah.
Braden.
I'm Carol.
Peter.
Steve.
Also.
My name is Jeff.
Okay. When we hear the word slaves, we think of individuals who are left out in the fields, forced to work under harsh circumstances, left with the ultimatum to either continue working in dreams of becoming free or die at the hands of their headmasters. Similar to slaves playing for extensive hours with strict schedules and no earnings, college athletes strive to perfect their athletic abilities in hopes to becoming pro, which can only be done by following the rigorous instructions of their college coaches. Today I will persuade you that college athletes should be paid by discussing the extensive hours that these athletes put in as students, the amount of money that scholarships actually cover, and the amount of money that college coaches make off these athletes per year, while they still make $0 for the sport that they so passionately love to play. Before all else, let's discuss the extensive hours these college athletes are required to put in while taking classes at their universities. According to the National Collegiate Athletic Association, otherwise known as the NCAA's 20-hour rule, college athletes are only allowed to participate for 20 hours a week dedicated to practice, games, and coach-administered meetings. However, in a study taken by the NCAA in 2019, Division I athletes were actually shown to spend over 40 hours per week on athletics. This can be proven by an example that was reported in the NCAA study that shows that football players practiced for over 44.8 hours per week. Moving on towards schoolwork, according to the NCAA, Division I athletes are required to complete 6 credit hours per semester in order to be eligible for this following term. Now, if we take each credit hour that is worth 3 hours worth of study time and multiply that by each other, which I have done by using the credit hour calculator offered by austincc.edu, you'll get 24 hours per week dedicated to schoolwork. Now, if you take those 40 hours that athletes averagely spend on athletics, you'll get 64 hours per week just on schoolwork and athletics alone. Now let's take that and broaden it on a scale according to an athlete who is playing for 4 years and is striving to get a bachelor's degree. According to a New York Times article by Meredith Calder, a degree usually takes around 120 credits, meaning that you will have to average 15 credits per semester in order to get it within 4 years. Doing that same math, taking 15 and multiplying by the 3 hours that it is worth, you'll get around 60 hours per week dedicated to schoolwork. Once again, taking that 40 hours the athletes spent on athletics alone, and adding that to the 60 hours that are spent on schoolwork, you'll get a whopping 100 hours per week that is just dedicated to schoolwork and athletics alone for athletes who are striving to get a degree. Whether athletes spend 64 hours or 100 hours per week depending on their situations, college athletes wear down their bodies under pressures to maintain their academic performance and athletic performance on and off their courts, tracks, and fields. Not to mention that these time constraints often restrict students to get jobs on the side if needed to provide for outside amenities not covered by scholarships. Talking about scholarships, let's move right along into discussing the amount of money scholarships actually cover. Athletic scholarships are every athlete's dream, getting to go to college for free and being able to play a sport that you love. Unfortunately, many people fail to realize that not all athletic scholarships will be full-ride scholarships. Majority of scholarships are partial-ride scholarships. According to the next college student-athlete organization, the NCAA and the NAIA, the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, and the NJCAA, the National Junior College Athletic Associations, are the only organizations that offer athletic scholarships. The NCSA states that the amount offered within a scholarship depends on if your sport is an equivalency sport or a head count sport. Head count sports are men's D1 basketball, D1 football, women's basketball, women's tennis, women's gymnastics, and women's volleyball. All 6 head count sports are full rides to college, meaning that athletes who participate in these 6 sports will get full rides no matter what. Equivalency sports are sports that are up to coaches to administrate their scholarship money amongst the athletes. Equivalency sports are sports like baseball, swimming, fencing, cross country, and track and field. As you can see, there's only 6 sports that offer full ride scholarships. The many of the rest of the sports that offer scholarships can only offer minimum full ride scholarships and majority partial ride scholarships. Now let's put some numbers to those words. According to the collegeboard.org are the reported averages of tuitions and costs per year, ranging from a 4-year public institution to a 4-year private institution. A 4-year public institution averages around $25,000 per year. A private 4-year institution averages around $34,740 per year. Now, if you take a common equivalency sport, like baseball, for example, we can see just how much these scholarships actually cover. According to debt.org, the average athletic scholarship offered to baseball athletes is around $13,220. If you take that $13,220 and subtract that by the average cost of tuition of a 4-year out-of-state public school, which is $25,000, you'll get around $12,400, meaning that $12,400 is not covered by the university and it's up to the athlete to make do with what they can. This principle applies to all athletes who fall into these equivalency sports who rarely offer full ride scholarships, leaving these athletes to decide what they want to do and how to go about performing their athletic abilities. Lastly, I'd like to talk about let's discuss the amount of money that college coaches actually make per year off of these athletes. According to thebestschools.org, the 25 highest paid college coaches of 2019, all 25 coaches make millions of dollars per year coaching. To get an understanding of just how many millions of dollars these coaches make, we can better focus on the top 5 highest paid college coaches. The top 5 highest paid coaches is Mike Krzyzewski, Nick Subban, Urban Meyer, Jim Harbaugh, and Jimbo Fisher. Mike Krzyzewski of Duke University makes $8.9 billion annually. Nick Subban, head football coach of the University of Alabama, makes $8.3 annually. And Urban Meyer of Ohio State University makes $7.6 million annually. Jim Harbaugh and Jimbo Fisher, head coaches of University of Michigan and University of Texas A&M, make $7.5 million annually. Overall, the top 25 highest paid coaches' annual salary ranges from $8 to $6 million. I mean this in no disregards to college coaches, but these college coaches make millions while their athletes, the ones that they are making millions off of, make none. Today I have discussed the extensive hours that these athletes put in as students, the amount of money scholarships actually cover, and the amount of money college coaches make off these college athletes each year, in hopes to persuade you that college athletes should be paid. As of 2019, college athletes are still not getting recognized for their athletic work as they strive to be the best that they can be, maybe even becoming pro. Not to mention, nobody wants to be treated as a slave, so why watch these college athletes go through college unpaid, dealing with pressures of both athletics, academics, and maybe even financial stress if their scholarships do not cover it without making a change? Thank you.